Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 13 and has autism. We paint together, working on his fine motor skills. He helps me paint the backgrounds of our paintings, and then I paint the rest. I started with that, and that brush was bigger than I wanted for this particular moment. Ugh. And I'm about to sneeze. So it's always good to start a video with those factors right away, But hey, it wouldn't be one of my videos if we didn't have some kind of distraction. So today is one of those days that it has been interesting. Sometimes you think you know what's happening, and then a curveball just continues to happen. And we are learning and growing and working together. And Owen this morning was having concerns for what was happening on Saturday. And he was having a good morning, and then my lack of being able to tell him that his grandma was going to pick him up every single time and bring him home was very distressing to him. And I tried to explain to him that's not how this works. We can't predict all of the future. And sometimes I just agree with him so that we can move forward. But that honestly does not benefit all of us in the long run, per se. So I breathe. It's a challenge some days because I want him to have a good day, but I also want him to realize that his demands, his thought process, his choices, do not always go with the moment, convey in the moment, think through those time frames. And it's hard for me to say this is or is not going to happen. But I can tell him, rest assured, his grandma is not going to be able to pick him up and drop him off every single Saturday. First of all, life happens, and we have all kinds of different things that come about. And so we can't always just say, well, here we are. And that's easier to explain than to explain. So I completely understand where he wants answers, and I get it, and I feel for him, and I want to try my best to always let him have those moments, those answers. But it doesn't work that way. And so, I can't always let him have a win category. I have to try to get him to understand, because it's the ripple effect. If I let him understand or not, completely get him to understand something today, then when it happens or doesn't happen, then that becomes something. So I breathe. Okay. But with all of that, at some point you just have to say, Owen, we do not have answers. I'm not going to have an answer. We have to move forward. Oh, I just put that all in my red, and that's not where I went. But that's okay, because you know, we'll need it eventually. A lot of times, if you've watched before, I don't always paint with the same paintbrush, but I'm kind of doing that a little bit for this one. I mean, changing it up. A lot of times when I make certain flowers, I just use the same paintbrush, and that's the way it goes. But this one I'll be using multiple brushes. So I've had a couple people ask me how I decide what to do, when to do it. It depends on what I'm doing. I look at like real life flower arrangements. I've self-proclaimed not a green thumb. My mom is, but I'm not. So when I'm making flowers, they're not always what one might think is flowers. They're just Lynn's interpretation of flowers. So I don't know what I'm doing some days, but we just go with the flow. So anyways, Owen, we got through it. We both, kind of agreed to disagree that he wanted answers and I couldn't give them to him. And we moved forward. So at this point, he knows that he is not seeing or having his grandma drive him to and fro, as they say, her house on Saturday, but that does not mean that is not the still expectation. So we're just gonna let it be. We're gonna roll with the punches and have him kind of maneuver into it, if that makes sense. So I told him that we were pretty much done with that discussion for the morning, that we had to get ready and that we could carry it on again later. And he wasn't completely thrilled with that conversation. But again, we can only do so many moments of him being upset in cycles. And it's just one of those things that we have to kind of let go of. And I breathe. It's words do not always translate with him. And so that's part of this as well. And you'll notice that I have greenery everywhere and I've covered up a big portion of it. That's the way the ball bounces. I do this kind of to place things, and then we go over it. We don't go over it. It's okay. It'll get there. We just keep going until we get stuff places. And then we'll go back in and add some things. So, when he came home, today is Thursday. When he came home, one of the days, all of them are blending together. I feel like it was 2 days ago, but I'm just going to go with it was a few days ago. He brought home a permission slip for a museum museum place here. It has a lot more than that, but it's like a concert hall, theater. They do all kinds of different events. I think they even rent it out sometimes for things. So it has a lot of kids activities, you name it. It's a big building with lots of different things, lots of concerts and that kind of thing. So he loves this place. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited. For the last couple of years, he has not been wanting to go to I'm going to tell you as soon as my brain thinks it through. Field trips. I couldn't talk and paint and figure out what I was trying to say at the same time. He hasn't wanted to go to field trips. And I think now I know, people, now we got this wrong direction in the pink paint. I truly need I've rearranged again my paints, and I'm still getting there. I make a mess. Okay. Anyways, he hasn't wanted to go to field trips for years because he, when he was younger, he went to the Special Olympics at this particular field. And the Special Olympics, they had all kinds of events. Like each of the kids would do a couple different ones, whether it be running or ball, throwing, just tons and tons of different activities. Well, he decided that he did not want to go to the Special Olympics field anymore. I have no problem with that. I want him to be able to decide the things that he wants to do. We will try lots of different activities, but I don't want him to just be like, oh, that's, I have to do that kind of thing. So it was something that I was completely okay with that he didn't go, but it kind of snowballed. Then he didn't want to go on any field trips. Well, we kept trying. His teacher's amazing, and we kept trying different things, different ways. Nope. Did not want to go. So after he came home with this permission slip, I was so excited. I just said, oh my word, you're going to get to go to the Clay Center, because he had been talking about going to the Clay Center. And I don't know if it's because they had started talking about it already at school, or if he just wanted to go. And we had talked about when we would get to go and what we would do and that type of thing. And so when we got the paper home, I was like, oh, this is so exciting. You're going to get to go to the field trip. The Clay Center. I didn't say field trip at that point. And he was excited, and I was just trying to hype it up because he hasn't been wanting to go. So words completely matter, and as they should. So the afternoon, 10 minutes was going on, and I then called it a field trip. I was so excited that you're going to the Clay Center for your field trip. Screeching halt. I stomped right on that one. He had his tablet, and he then immediately pulled up the field on Google Earth. Google Earth has been such an amazing tool for us, and it's helped us in so many ways. So he pulled up Google Earth, and he said, Owen, not going. He didn't want to go. He wasn't going, not going, many, many versions of the answer. And it dawned on me that he was saying field trip, that he did not want to go on the field trip. And here I am saying the Clay Center is this field trip, and it's not. It's not a field trip like the one that he doesn't want to go on. It's a field trip, like those are the words that they use to describe field trips. So I pulled up pictures of the Clay Center. I said, it's not a field trip, it's a clay center trip. You're going to the clay center, and I talked about the water feature that they had, and the different activities, and getting to ride on the elevator, and just all the different things that he was going to get to do. And I think he kind of grasped it at that point. And I breathe, because he kind of relaxed a little bit with it, and he wasn't as upset about it being a field trip. He was more aware that it was going to be a clay center trip. So I am praying and praying and praying that this is the answer we have been waiting for, that he will now understand that it's more about, I don't know if you saw that, but I was about to drop a big ol' clump of paint right onto it. So he has asked about the clay center trip numerous times at this point, and I'm praying and praying and praying that he now understands that field is where he went for that event, those events that he doesn't necessarily want to be going back to. But this is a completely different random thing. I'm hoping upon hope that helps in what he's working on, are working through with it, that it doesn't keep him from wanting to go. And I told his teacher that I think I figured out why he was upset or not wanting to go on field trips, because he kept associating it with only going to that field for those events. And we've tried outdoor activities. We've tried baseball, and we tried soccer, and it's just not his thing. It's not something that he really wants to do. He loves outdoors, but I think it's the chaos of it. Like, I think he wants to do his things on his times and in his moments. So I think this may be the answer. And I'm really hoping that we now will see him wanting to go to something trip, but not a field trip. And his teacher, like I said, she's going to use different words as well, so that he doesn't have that anxiousness of it being a field trip or a to that specific place. And the more that he gets the communication skills and his words, and the English language is hard, or to me it is, because you have so many words that sound alike, act alike, a little different, like affect, effect. I mean, that one even still gets me. It's like, when do you use one? When do you use the other? Why? They're so similar that it truly is like, it's hard to even kind of, well, there's so many words like that. And, you have a word like peach, P-E-A-C-H, and then your speech is with E's. It's not the E-A. So, I mean, why is one like one thing and one thing is like the other? I don't know. It's complicated. It's just, to me, it's very, very, very complicated. And what do you say? What do you say? You know? So, I'm just going with the flow, and I'm just, like I said, thankful that Owen is kind of looking at it like, he's looking at it. He's thinking about it. He's processing it. And if that can get him to go to the Clay Center for this trip, I will feel like I'll just be so excited, because he used to love to go on field trips, and he likes going places now. Like, when he was younger, he didn't want to go out to breakfast with people, or, it was a big chore. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with the sounds of the world and just so many things, but here he is now, requesting breakfasts, requesting dinners, requesting this with people. That's what I hold on to, is every day for all of us, there is a moment for hope. There's always a moment for being able to change our lives. And it's proven to me every single day when I get up in the morning. And today was a hard moment. Today was kind of almost exhausting in some ways. Okay, not some ways. It was exhausting. It was exhausting because I'm trying to keep Owen from having meltdowns or from having anxious moments, and there he was, just couldn't get out of the moment, couldn't get through it. And we had to get on the bus, and he got on the bus. He even had a different driver with the bus coming the different direction, which isn't technically the wrong direction. But when you have a routine and you have your moments, any and all little changes, which to him are not necessarily little, so I'm not making light of that at all, that is what's hard. So we learn, we grow, we love, not necessarily in that order, and we find out what we do. So this is what we're doing today. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I feel like I need just, sometimes, like, the messy part is the fun part. Just doing something that's not in.
Lynn, here is your.
Okay. So, I think I'm almost there. I'm wanting to make a little more of the connection there. And sometimes when I add color, like, you can still go back and kind of add color and then kind of take it away by adding like more of the color that you covered up. That way you have like a layering effect with it. So it'll come back kind of thicker in spots or different as you go along. So, anyways, we are done. Just a few little things there. And then off and running shortly to go get Owen for his therapy today. He has speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. Sometimes I forget what say you in my brain. Okay, before I keep moving through here, I'm going to do O for Owen, since he always helps me with the backgrounds. And then L and B. There we go. Thanks so much for watching and being a part of our day. Toodles, toodles.